بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وأهلا وسهلا ومرحبا أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم في دروس في اللغة العربية. We have covered so far 2 lessons, and tonight is our 3rd lesson. I would like to remind those of you who are viewing online that the classes are being held at the Karoni Masjid, Karoni Village. And for those of you online, if you have any questions during the class, you could type in your questions on the chat, and inshallah, we will try to answer the questions sometime during the class or later on in the class. And I would like to remind all of you, those who are viewing online and those of you who are in the class right here, that you should not write any English in your textbook. No pronunciation of any Arabic words, no meaning of any words. All right, the reason for that is that the minute you start writing the English, you will not be focusing on the Arabic words, and that is going to slow down your process of learning the Arabic words. So you have to look at the Arabic words and try to remember the meanings of the words. And you have, of course, certain pages in the book itself where you will have like a list of words. After the lesson, coming to the end of the lesson, you have the list of words. All right, so you have no problems. And also, I would like to find out from you if you have been doing your part at home. Because, as we have mentioned before, the ideal amount of time that we should be spending to learn Arabic as a language will be 5 hours per week. We only have less than 3 hours in the classroom here, all right, and also online. So the remaining 2 hours will be dependent on you. You, the students, you have to do the homework. At the end of every lesson, you will see Iqra waktub. So it is expected of you, the students, to read and read aloud and also write the words. By writing the words, inshallah, it will help you to remember the words. Also, or additionally, I would like to advise you that if you have a list of words like this, all right, what you can do is you blank off the Arabic here at the side, okay? And you write the words in the same sequence as you see it in your books. So you're going to write only the English in the same sequence as you see it. Then you close the book, okay? And then it is for you now to write the Arabic equivalent of all of the English words that you have written, okay? And the reason why I'm telling you to do it in the same sequence is because when you have to look for the word in your textbook, sometimes you may have to look all over the place, and it might take a lot of time for you to find the word you're looking for. But if you just maintain the same sequence of the word here, it will be easy for you to follow, to find the words. That is the only reason why I'm telling you to do it like that. All right? So I'm trying to help you to save on time, maximize your time, and go straight to learn the words and learn the words properly. Remember, you have not yet learned the word until and unless you can write the word correctly from memory. After you have written the words in Arabic on your own, then you will compare what you have written to what is in the textbook and make sure that you have it correctly. If you have made a mistake, do not erase what you have written. Write the correct answer next to it. So you could always look back at your mistake and you would not make the same mistakes again. All right? Um, tonight's class is a very exciting class, I would say. And before we start tonight's class, I just want to review very quickly some of the words we did in the previous classes. So I will expect your participation, which will be also as a test for me to quickly assess you as I will hear you responding when I will be asking certain questions. So give me the Arabic word for this, masculine singular. I can't hear you. Hadha. And you know how to write it. The ha is attached to the dhal. And the meaning of hadha is what? And it is for what kind of objects? Masculine objects. Singular or plural? Singular. For near or distant? Near objects. All right? Okay. If you want to ask the question, what is this? What is the Arabic for that? Say it again. Ma hadha. Ma hadha. What is this? And when you're asking the question, you sound it also like a question, as if you're asking a question. Ma hadha. What is this? Ma hadha. All right. Supposing you have a sentence. You want to say, you say, hadha baytun. This is a house. And you want to turn that into a question. You want to say, is this a house? How are you going to say that? Ahadha baytun? Ahadha baytun? And instead of what can you say? Hal. Hal hadha baytun? Hal hadha baytun? And so you can take all the nouns that you have and you could ask questions like this. So, ma hadha, what is this? And then take a sentence, turn it into a question by adding a or hal in front of it. Now, also in our class, I have been making some references to verses of the Quran. And I thought that perhaps some of the students may not be familiar with some of the surah or the surahs of the Quran. I might call the name of a surah, and some of you may not know the name of the surah. All right, so you would be lost. And I will just quickly mention the word, and I move on. So now to help you to keep abreast of what I'm saying, I will also, when I'm quoting from the Quran, I will also give you the name of the surah, the number of the surah, and the number of the verse or the ayah that the word occurred in. So that you can, inshallah, on your own time, you could go back and check it out. All right? So you would need to write down when I say something. I may not necessarily write the reference on the board. Maybe I might write it, maybe I might not write it. So you have to pay attention. All right? And write down the references of what I am saying. All right? So I have been doing my part, and that is explaining everything to you. And I'm expecting that you will also be doing your part. I want to emphasize that. All right? If you do not do your part, you will find yourself not getting the expected result in this class where we are trying to learn to read, write, speak, and listen Arabic. So you have to listen to the instructions and also try to implement what I'm asking you to do. If you do not do your homework, all right, you will only be fooling yourself, I would say, not me. All right? It's just yourself that you're cheating on yourself, and you will not get the end result that you're supposed to get. All right? So always be focused and always think about reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Every word that you know, say it aloud. Every word that you have read, know to write it from memory. Know how to ask a question. Know how to respond. And as we progress with the questions and so on, inshallah, you will have it. Now, many of the words that we have gone through so far, we have cited a few verses of the Quran. All right? Now, in today's class, which is lesson 3 from Dr. Abdur Raheem's book, which we said is one of the texts that we are going to use, all right? We have also the Arabiyyah baina Yadaik, all right, which is the next textbook. So from this textbook, at lesson 3 introduces to the student what is called adatu ta'rif, or the definite article. So let's say, for example, previously we have learned in lesson 1 this word, all right, which is what? Baitun, which means a house. A house. So this is a house. Now, supposing we want to say the house. The house. The house. All right? How are we going to say the house instead of a house? We have this same word, bait, which means house. Okay? And I'm going to use a different color marker so that it is highlighted. All right? And we're going to prefix this noun with the definite article al. So it looks like this. Al. Al by 2. Put this in red also. So basically, the al is really the. All right? The. Now, in the English language, as we can observe clearly, the is one word. All right? And house is on. So we have 2 words. But in the Arabic, when we look at the Arabic, it looks like just one word. Al-baytu. Al-baytu. So this is what you're going to notice anytime when you have the definite article, it is called. All right? It is attached to the noun. And it looks like a prefix. Right? It is a prefix to the noun. What you will also observe is that when the al, the definite article, is prefixed to the noun, it loses the tanween. So this double here, double vowel sign, tanween, now becomes a single vowel. All right? Al-baytu. So basically, this is like a. So tanween is really an indication of the indefiniteness of the noun. The noun is indefinite. It means it is not a specific noun. When I say baitun means a house, any house. But when I say al-baytu means the house. I'm talking about a specific house, al-baytu. Okay? Additionally, what I would like to say is that alif lam, which means the, and tanween, which could be referred to as a, indefinite, the 2 of them cannot ever, ever come together in a single word. So you can't have al-baytun, because that will be tantamount to a, the a house. Can't work. The a house. Because alif lam means the, and the tanween means a. So the 2 of them can never come together in the same word. So you have to remember that rule. So al-baytu. Okay? So take any noun that you already know from before, which means like a key, a pen, a chair, a desk, whatever it is, and make it the. All right? So now it's time for questions to you. So we have qalamun means what? A pen. I want to say if the pen will be al-qalamu. Al-qalamu. The word for desk. Maktabun. The desk. Al-maktabu. Another meaning for the word al-maktab. Ah, you all have forgotten. Maktabun also means an office. One person got it correct. Maktabun means an office. So the office will be al-maktabu. Al-maktabu. What is the Arabic word for chair? Kursiyun, the chair. Al-kursi. You. All right. Yes. Huh? Miftah. Miftahun. The key will be al-miftahu, and so on, and so on, and so on. But alif lam. So you have to remember, alif lam is attached to the noun, and the noun loses the tanween. All right? What about now if we were to look in the Quran for one particular word where we could see the word as an indefinite noun and the next time as a definite noun? All right? And it is a simple word that everyone can relate to. And the example must be from the last part of the Quran, which you are also familiar with. So you see how many things we have to take into consideration to simplify the class for you. All right? So we would look at the word read that word for me. Nar. Can you remember this word? Naran. Which surah? Suratul Lahab. Suratul Lahab. All right? Suratul Lahab. What chapter of the Quran? 111. Ayah number 3. Sayasla naran dhata lahab. So, naran. So we're saying the word naran. Can you remember seeing this word again in the Quran like this? How do you read this? Na-run. Yes. Yes, people of the Quran. Huh? Narun hamiyah. Narun hamiyah. Narun hamiyah. Suratul Qari'ah. Chapter 101. Ayah number 11. The last ayah of that surah. All right? Suratul Qari'ah. Narun hamiyah. You could also look at Surah 92 for naran. All right? فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ نَارًا تَلَظَّى فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ. And so I have warned you. All right? Naran. About a fire. All right? Blazing. تَلَظَّى. All right. You have also narun. عَلَيْهِمْ نَارٌ مُؤْصَدَةٌ. عَلَيْهِمْ نَارٌ مُؤْصَدَةٌ. Suratul Balad. Suratul which surah I told you? Balad. Surah 90, Ayah 20. Surah 90, Ayah 20. What about like this? Alif Lam, and it's the same word. Huh? So it means what? What would this mean? The fire. And what is this one? A fire. A fire. Now, as a student, when you're reading the Quran and you see indefinite and definite, you have to think deeper now into the word. When it is naran, a fire, A fire means that it is indefinite. In other words, you do not know the nature of that fire. All right? So that should create more fear in the person when they hear about a fire. All right? Okay, what about this one? Read. Narullah al-Muqadah. Narullah means Allah's own kindled fire. Al-Muqadah, kindled. Allah's fire. And if Allah preparing a fire, that is a different kind of fire, right? So every time you see a word coming with it, or if it's definite, all of these meanings you have to pay special attention to. All right? When a person reads the Quran, every student of the Arabic language must know that the Quran, all right, is the primary source of Arabic grammar. The Quran is the primary source of Arabic grammar. All books of Arabic grammar have been written after the revelation of the Quran. And all the laws and the rules of Arabic grammar have been deduced from the usage of those words in the Quran. All right? So whether a person is a Muslim or a non-Muslim, and that person wants to learn the Arabic language, they will always have to refer to the Quran. Why is this law like this? Well, the Quran says it's so. And that is Allah's words. So that is law. All right? Next in line for a student of the Arabic language, all students of the Arabic language must also know that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, the last and the final messenger of Allah to all of mankind, he was the most eloquent of the Quraysh tribe. And so his words, the second in line with regards to Arabic grammar. So if you're looking for laws of Arabic grammar, either the Quran is number one, primary source, number two, the statements and the sayings of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And third in line will be the sayings of the Arabs of the past. Past, like in the early generations, not the Arabs of nowadays, okay? Who speak in all kinds of different dialects and different slangs and so on. So that means to say that if an Arab spoke something and they made a mistake, that mistake will also be a law in grammar. All right? And you have examples like that, of those things, right? But we are not going to go into all of those details. But it's just for your information, for you to know. All right? In Surah Al-A'la, you have an-nar. All right? An-nar. All right? So you have alladhi yasla an-nar al-kubra. That is Surah Al-A'la, which is Surah 87, and it is Ayah 12. All right? Surah 87, Ayah 12. And then you also have na. You have fi. Can you read? Huh? Fi nari jahannam. Can you remember that click anywhere from the surah you memorized from the last juz of the Quran? Suratul Bayyina, mashallah. Suratul Bayyina. Whose driveway? What number? PDL. Yes, you're blocking the driveway of someone. Right? The person is waiting to go in. So that is one of the things. Whenever you're parking, just make sure you're not blocking anybody's driveway. All right? All right. So this is Surah 98, ayah number 6. All right? إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب في نار جهنم. So fi means in, nar means fire, and Jahannam, hell. Fire of hell. All right? Jahannam. All right? Huh? Right. Okay. So we have only looked at one word. Now I want to point out to you something. Do not allow, like this or this, all of these vowels and more, all right, to deceive you thinking it is a different word. It is the same word. All right? It is the same word all the time. Just the vowel changes. And the vowels will change according to how the word is used in an ayah. Sometimes the word is in what is called the subjective case or the nominative case. These are grammatical terms. Or it could be in the objective case or the accusative case. Or it could be in the genitive case. All right? When it's preceded by a preposition, for example. All right? So the cases of the nouns could vary. All right? So do not allow these ending. The cases normally are reflected on the ending part of the noun, where the vowel will change. All right? But do not allow those things to deceive you to think it is a different word. It's like me. Today I'm dressed like this. Yesterday I was with a neck collar. All right? The other day I was without the the cloth, just with the topi. And then some of you would see me without the topi, but it's the same me. All right? Sometimes I might have my thawb, other times I may not have it. I might have on just my shirt and pants, but it's the same. Likewise, the words, they are the same words, so you have to pay attention. All right? So the alif lam here, for example, is also, all right, an additional to the noun. So the nar is there all the time. All right? Meaning fire. So this is just one example out of hundreds of examples in the Quran, and you will have to be looking out for these words and try to remember the meanings of them. All right? So in your textbook, you have baitun, and then you have al-baitu. A house, the house. Qalamun, al-qalamu. All right? Kitabun, al-kitabu. And so on. All right? So what the author did, after he has shown us that rule, he made a sentence, a simple sentence. So he added another word to make a complete sentence, basically. All right? So it will be now up to you to learn, after you have learned that rule, is to learn your new word, your new vocab. So the word maksur is broken. All right? So you could say, the pen is broken, you will say what? Al-qalamu maksur. If you want to say the chair is broken, al-kursiyu maksur. The desk is broken. All right, the key is broken. All right, so you could use your words, all right, and put the word maksur. Supposing I want to ask the question, is the chair broken? How am I going to say that? So let's look at that example. Let's look at that example. The chair. Al-kur. Maksur. All right? Maksurun. So we have al-kursiyu maksurun. Now, you were told previously that if you wanted to change a sentence to a question, you could either put a or you could put hal. Okay? When I told you that, I did not tell you something which is important for you to know, because I was waiting for this to happen first for you to see. And I didn't want to give you too many rules at one time. So the rules are coming gradually. All right? So this is what happens now. You would have learned previously, and I think Dr. Fa will be introducing the definite article or the sun letters and the moon letters to us. All right? The definite article, one of the things that we need to know about the definite article, alif lam, all right, is that this fatha here, it is a temporary fatha. Temporary means that if there is a word before, all right, if there is a word before here, before it, this fatha will just fly away. It will just go away. So it doesn't exist anymore. And then the sukoon here, the word will now be attached to this. All right, before. So this is what's going to happen now. If we understand that rule, let me say that rule again. Alif lam, al, the fatha on the alif is temporary. If there is a word before it, the fatha goes away. So it remains like this. All right? Whatever word is before is now going to be attached to the noun here. Okay? Now, if we had a in front of this, now remember the fatha went away from this. So now it will be what? Al-kursiyu maksur. It sounds the same thing. It is the same thing. It's sung in the same way. All right? So, to avoid that confusion and ambiguity, all right, it is better not to use this. Better it could be used, but later on you'll get why, when it could be used. Hal will be the better word to use. Now, we have another issue to deal with. We have hal. Let me write it a little bit closer now so we could look at it better. All right? So we have hal. And then we don't have the fatha anymore here because there is a word before. But now we have a sukoon here. So the rules of reading is that whenever a letter is vowel-less, it has a sukoon, that letter is helpless. She can't move. She needs help. And the only one who could help her is the letter that's coming before. Now this alif cannot help her anymore because there is a word before. So the fatha that she had, she can't help her anymore. So she has to look further away. See, look here, the lam is also helpless because she has a sukoon. She can't help. This lam cannot help this lam. All right? So now the lam can't go further than that. All right? So because of this lam being vowel-less and this one being vowel-less, a new rule comes to play. All right? And this sukoon is now changed to a kesra. So the lam has been empowered with a vowel so that she could assist this lam. So it becomes now, instead of hal, you don't say hal anymore. You say ha, and then the lam is joined to this one. So halil kursiyu maksur. It now becomes a question. All right, like that. And you're not supposed to pause between words when you're reading Arabic. Arabic is supposed to be a nice flowing without pausing. So you can't stop and say hal al-kursi. You can't have no pause here. So the whole thing has to go together. Halil kursiyu maksur. Halil kursiyu maksur, like that. All right? So remember now, if a sentence begins with alif lam, do not use a, but use hal. And remember, the sukoon on the lam will change to a kesra. All right? So that she could assist this lam. Assisting means to form a syllable so she could move. She needs a haraka. These vowels, they are called harakat. Harakat means movements. Sukoon means stationary and stagnant. So the letter is motionless. She can't move. She needs a vowel. She needs haraka to move. All right? So all of those things, the student of the Arabic language has to, to know about these simple rules of reading. Now, you have al-bab. Let's say this is al-bab here. And if it is open, the word for open will be maftuh. All right? So, look at this. Maftuh. All right? I'm going to write the same word again. Why I'm writing it like this is I want to show you something. So you sing fa, ta, and ha. Fa, ta, ha. Right? That means to open. Fataha means to open. So maftuh is basically an additional meme here. All right? And an additional wow. All right? Means opened. Opened. All right? So this is called a prefix. This is called an infix. All right? And sometimes you may have suffix coming to the end. Look at this word. You know this word. What word is that? Miftah. It is the instrument to open. All right? And you know a surah by the name of Suratul Fatiha. Suratul Fatiha, the opening chapter. All right? So you notice the fa and the ta and the ha inside all of them. All right? One of the rules of the student of Arabic must also remember and never to forget, whenever you see a word with a ta marbuta, all right? The vowel before the ta marbuta is always a fatha. All the time. Fatha. Okay? So, if you know that rule, when you start to read Arabic without vowels, you will already figure out that there is a fatha here. And as you have been learning the rules, you have learned already that when a word begins with alif lam, then the last vowel will be what? A single dhamma. So that is the next rule you already know. All right? So gradually, the rules of reading without vowels will come in one by one. All right? All right. So al-bab maftuh, al-babu, al-babu, the door, maftuhun, opened, the door is open. If you want to say the office is open, how are you going to say that? Tell me. Al-maktabu maftuh. Now, supposing you want to ask the question, Is the office open? You use hal because it begins with alif lam. So, halil maktabu maftuh? Question. Song it like a question. Say it, let me hear. Halil maktabu maftuh. You can make up your own sentences by using these words that are applicable. All right? Now, you want to say the boy is sitting. You have al-waladu jalis. Al-mudarris, I'm the mudarris. Ana mudarris. Al-mudarris waqif. All right? Al-mudarris jalis. 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 Ana jalis. Ana waqif. Waqif. Jalis. Jalis. All right? Waqif. Al-mudarrisu waqif. All right? So you read these words, read these sentences on your own, and you try to get the meanings at the end of every exercise, at the end of every lesson you will have a list of the vocabulary and you will see the meanings. As I have told you before, where you're seeing the Arabic here, do not write the English, please. You will be delaying yourself. You will be delaying learning the word. You have to look. When you're not seeing the English, you will have to be forcing yourself now to try to remember what the word is and what its meaning is. All right? So do not write any English here. Okay? You already have the English somewhere else later on. Okay. So the remaining sentences are for you to read. And after that, you have an exercise or exercises. Tamarin means exercises. It says, اقرأ واكتب مع ضبط أواخر الكلمات, which means read, write, and put in the ending vowels of the words. All right? So basically, you have a list of words with the alif lam and without the alif lam. You already know the rule. If it has alif lam, it will end with a single dhamma. No alif lam, tanween. Basically, that is what the lesson is all about. So you try to do that, right? Then the next part of the exercise says read and write. Okay, iqra waktub. So you read them, read aloud, as I have said before. Read aloud. You can't want to learn to speak a language when you're reading in your mind. All right? So you have to read it aloud and get accustomed to it, to say it. So when you meet whoever you're going to speak to in Arabic, all right, you will know what to say and how to say it. Okay? And make sure you pronounce the words correctly. Ideally, I'm supposed to listen to each one of you if you're learning a language. All right? I have to hear how you're saying the word, how you're pronouncing the word. And I'm also aware of the fact that many adults, when they are in a class, they do not like to be asked. Because if they do not know the answer to a question, they might feel embarrassed, and then they might not come to class again. I'm aware of all of these things. All right? So I'm in a difficult position when I have to teach a class, when I have these things, happening, right? So you all have to try to understand and bear with me and do your part. All right? Inshallah ta'ala. So let's give this book a little rest here now. We're stopping, let's see, at page 20. Page 20, you have some blanks to fill in. All right? Page 20 here. Some blanks to fill in. You have the word there, and you just have a list of words on top, and you just have to fill in the appropriate word to complete the sentence. And at the bottom here, you do the same thing. Here, you don't have a list of words. You have to put in your own words for them. All right? And you should also do that. All right, so we will say we stop at page 20 from the reading book. Now we're going to move to this book, Al-Arabiyyah baina Yadaik. And in today's class, today's session, we're going to learn how to ask a different question from what we have been asking before, and also to see what changes can happen to a word if you want to attribute that word to yourself. And basically, it's like country, nationality. So, conversation between two individuals. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Min aina ant? Min aina ant? Min means from. All right? So, the word min, which looks pretty much like the word man. All right? This is man, which means who. But you change the vowel to a kesra. It's a different word. It's now a preposition. It means from, min. Okay? So min, from. The next word is aina. Aina. I, na. Min, aina. Anta. Right, it's a question. Min aina ant. So literally, from where you. All right? From where are you? But in proper English, we say, where are you from? All right? Where are you from? So you don't have to translate like word for word if you want to get the meaning. All right? But this is how the Arabs would ask someone, where are you from? All right? From where are you? Min, aina, anta. You cannot change the sequence. You can't say, okay, first word is where, aina, anta, min. That will be incorrect. All right? It has to follow the same sequence. So you memorize it one time. Min aina ant. Repeat. Say it again. So supposing you were in a class with people from different nationalities. All right? From different nationalities. So in the book here, the person says, Ana min Pakistan. Look at this. Ta, n. Ana min Pakistan. Ana min Pakistan. That's how it is written in Arabic. Okay? So, ana meaning I. The word for I, ana, is written with an elongated noun. Okay? That's how it is written. But it is pronounced short. You do not say ana. You go short. Ana. Short. Like if the aleph doesn't exist. All right? Like sometimes you go somewhere and nobody like never seen you. Like you don't exist. All right? That aleph there is. But there is a reason why the aleph was placed there, right? And if you could look back at some of the classes I had on YouTube, I explained all of these things before. Because that aleph and noon alone, there are many possibilities in the word. All right? 4 different possibilities if it was written without the aleph. All right? It could be an, it could be anna, it could be in, or it could be inna. That's 4 already. So to differentiate from all of those, an aleph was added to make it different. Ana. So ana means I. Ana from min Pakistan. Ana min Pakistan. Okay? Supposing I want to say, Ana min, I am from Trinidad. So it'll be what? Ana, tell me. Min. Okay, how are we going to write Trinidad? T, ri, ta, ri, ni, da, d. Trinidad. Ana min Trinidad. Ana min Trinidad. Okay? So I'm from Trinidad. And so on. You could put any other country you want. Good. Now, supposing we have a country and we want to attribute ourselves to that country. So I want to say, I'm a Pakistani. I am from Pakistan. I am a Pakistani. All right? So this is what you're going to do to make it an attribute. We're going to add on a ya with a shadda, all right, to this. All right? So we're going to change that noun and make it smaller to attach the ya to it. Okay? So now this will become ba kis ta ni, like this. All right? So you change this, put it in red so you could see it. All right? And I put a shadda here. So Pakistani means Pakistani. All right? And if I want to say Trinidadian, I do the same thing. All right? I put in a ya here. Okay? And the ya has a shadda. And this letter before the ya is a kesra. So Trinidadi, like that. You have to emphasize the ya. Trinidadi. It's Trinidadiyun. It has a tanween dhamma. All right? Pakistaniyun. But normally the Arabs, they don't pronounce the ending vowel, right? They don't say it out. Huh? No, it can't be min. So, yes. Ana Trinidadi. Yes. I am Trinidadian. But you can't say Ana min Trinidadi. I am from Trinidadian. Can't work. All right? Can't work. So, Ana min Trinidad. Ana Trinidadi. All right? So, I want you to also observe the difference between this ya, which is called the attributive ya, which is different from the possessive ya. All right? So remember the word, let's say we have the word bite. All right? You remember bite? And I want to say my house. Remember we add on a ya. But it was just a simple ya with a sukoon. And the letter before takes a kesra. So that's baiti, just baiti. So, my house, baiti. Qalami, my pen. All right? Maktabi, my desk. Kursiyi, my chair. And so on. Miftahi, my key. That's just a simple ya. But for the attributive one, it's a shadda. So, Pakistani, right? Trinidadi. Okay, like you have to emphasize the ya. All right? So, if I ask you for a test, differentiate between the two yas, the ya sakina and the ya mushaddada, you should be able to tell me the difference between the two. All right? This one is possessive ya. This one is attributive ya. Now, one more thing that you have to know about nationalities. Sometimes a country may end with A or Aleph. All right? Example. Canada. Canada. All right? Canada. So if we want to have Canadian, we want to say Canadian, we will first have to take away this, the Aleph. And then we add the ya with the shadda, and the letter before, after we have taken out the Aleph, takes a kesra. So it becomes what? Tell me. Canadi. Canadi. So it's Canadian. All right? What about This word. What word is that? Huh? America. America means America. All right? So if you want to say an American, take away the alif, right? And then we add yeah with the shadda. And what do we do with the kaf? Make the fatha kasra. It becomes what? Ameriki. You have to hold it on the ya. Ameriki. Canadi. All right? That is for masculine. And if you want to make it feminine, all you need to do is to add ta marbuta to make it feminine. This one is masculine here, and this is feminine. So now if we're going to add this to this, we'll have to change the shape of the ya. So then to write over the whole word, it will be like this. Ka, na, put the ya like this, the shape changes, and we have the ta marbuta. All right? So it is kana di ya. All right? Kanadiyya. Kanadiyya. Kanadiyyatun. Same thing goes for this. Add on ta marbuta. When you add on the ta marbuta, remember the rule what I told you all. Anytime a word has ta marbuta, the vowel before it is what? That is why there is a fatha. All right? A Trinidadian. So Muhammad will say, Ana, if I'm a Trinidadian, you will say what? Ana Trinidadi. And if a sister wants to say, I am Trinidadian, she will say what? Ana Trinidadiya. All right? And so on, and so on. All right? So, for the reading, we have Ana Pakistani, Ana min Pakistan. Ana Turki, Ana min Turkiya. Ana Turki, Ana min Turkiya. I am from Turkey. I am Turkish will be what? Ana Turki. And if it's a female, she will say what? Ana what? Turkiya. Are you Turkish? How are you going to ask that question? Hal, you, anta. And then you will have Turki. Hal anta Turki? And if you're asking a female, you will say what? Hal anti Turkiya? Say la, ana Trinidadiya. All right? And so on. So you have to practice. All right? So that brings us to the end of today's class. We didn't get any questions today. All right? So if you have any questions, feel free to call. We have the book from some of you said you didn't get the book in the store. We have some books here if you all want. All right? And that's the end of today's class. Jazakumullah khairan. Barakallahu feek. I just want to remind you of the classes at the Karani Masjid. All right? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. 7:55 you were thinking, but all right? So inshallah, Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you for tuning in. And inshallah, we will see you again on Wednesday. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.